see how a while loop works. So for while loop, what we have to do is first, let's say there is a value I is equal to 1, and while I less than equal to 6, then print I, and then I is equal to I, what am I doing? I plus 1. So if I run this is what I'm going to get. Now let's ignore this step first and see if it works or not. No, because there is no value here. So just understand how different these two are. So during for loop, the first value is something that we have not initialized. But for while loop, we do have to initialize the first value, right? That
Hmm.
is one of the important thing. The first value, we need to define it. I is equal to 1. That means I want my loop to start from 1. If it's
Okay.
okay, if I make it 0, it will start with 0. So we have to initialize it. That is the first point. Here we had not initialized anything. It was auto initialized from 0. That is the first thing. Next, this is the condition that we have to write. I less than equal to 6. Here in for loop, it was based on a range or a distance. Like, if the value reaches 5, 6, 7, something. But here, if, it's based on a condition. If I is less than equal to 6, we can put any condition here. If, some other variable is true, or let's say, during ATM cards. So this condition could be while the condition will be what? Now, if the ATM card is plugged in, this is true. If this particular condition is true, then it will go inside the loop and whatever thing. So that's, one of the example of conditions. So if this condition is met, like 0 is of course less than equal to 6, then print 0. Print 0, I'm getting a print, agreed. And then what it's doing, it's incrementing the value. So here the value was auto incremented by 1, 2 or whatever. Like if I say, let's say 10, and if I put 2 here, oh, why it's not running? Okay. See, the difference here is I wanted the value to be incremented by 2. That's why I gave 2 here. So it's just giving 2, 2, 2, 2 gap. Here the same thing is happening, but during for loops, this was a default statement. I had not to specify anything and it was doing 1 on its own. But here I have to mention it. What if I omit this statement? This will keep on running. This will be known as a infinite loop. Can you see here on the extreme, top right? So the kernel is executing. The kernel is busy. The white color means it's, yeah, see the kernel status is busy, and see here the code is running. And what is the output? The output is coming and coming and coming. So this is known as an infinite loop. Now why this is happening? This is happening because I have not given a statement to increment or to stop the loop. During for loop, okay, let me close this first. Okay, I should not have done that maybe. So I just wanted to show you like what if the condition is not met and what would have happened here. But that's fine. Yeah. So I had just omitted this particular line. So just understand how it would have worked. So 0, 0 less than equal to 6, print 0. So 0 was printed and 0 was not incremented. So in the next time, while again it enters the loop, the value is now not 1, the value is again 0. So again 0 less than equal to 6 and print 0. So that's how 0 was never incremented and this condition was never, stopped, violating. So every time the condition is meeting. So this is known as an infinite loop. You following me?
Oh,
So this statement, if I run it now, again it will keep on executing because every time the condition will meet and it will keep on printing I for endless infinite times. Now how to stop it? We have to put, we have to increment the value. So if I enable this condition again, so every time, first it was 0, 0 was printed. Next time 0 will be incremented by 1. So now I is equal to I plus 1. So what this will do? So I is equal to i's value will be 0 plus 1 will be 1. So the next time the i's value will be incremented to 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 6 you will get the you will get the values and that's when it will stop. Sorry. What happened now? Yeah. Are we clear on this part, Ranjit? The basic
mm,
difference between while loop and this thing.
yes, yes.
Okay, now this can be written in a different way. I plus is equal to 1. So this is just I is equal to I plus 1. I mean, this both of them are just the same thing, just written differently. I plus is equal to 1. So these are just different things, but that's how essentially the whole thing works, right? Now, let's just talk about three important things here. And let's just talk about three things here. These are break and pass is not that important, but continue and break, these two are very essential. And why is that? Because we are dealing with loops, right? Like, let's say in you're working in a real banking some project, and by mistake you just ran an infinite loop. Now, in case of a bank, in case of real production server, these all are cost involved, right? Because you are taking the data from somewhere, you are running it, you are executing. Let's say this whole thing was hosted on cloud, so AWS or Azure will charge you for every run. And by mistake, you executed this statement and it became an infinite loop. So now what will happen is, now what will now what will happen is this infinite loop will keep on running and it will incur, incur a heavy cost on the bank. So we should be aware of such situations and we should have some controls in place which will help us to which will help us to deal with the situation. Like if something goes wrong, I should have control to stop it. Otherwise, it will go into, a very bad thing and it will keep on running. So that is why we have a break statement. So break is something which will essentially put a break on the condition and it will essentially help you to stop it. Let's write the thing again. Now, while I less than, let's say, 6, and print of I. We want the value to be printed now. Let's say, uh, let's say I just want to see if the value is 3 or not. If the value becomes 3, that's when I want to stop it. So I'll just put a condition if I is equal to 3, because I just want to see if this value is 3 or not. So, or okay, let's ignore this. Just write what we were writing. I plus is equal to 1, right? This is what I was getting. Now, so every time the value is increasing, let's say I want to see if that particular has crossed 3 iterations or not. So if that has crossed 3 iteration, then I want it to stop. So I will write like if I is equal to 3, then break. See, the good thing about Jupyter Notebook is every time there is a statement which is preloaded and predefined within Python environment. If you write something like this, the color will change and it will ensure you that you have you have written the correct thing and it's not wrong or something. So if I execute this now, yeah, it's working. So it's breaking after 3. So
Okay.
understand this thing. So what break does is it's essentially putting a break on your loop. It lets you to decide where exactly you want to stop. Otherwise, it will go on to execute the entire thing. If conditions are not put correctly, it might go into an infinite loop, but it will have a condition. Like, if something goes wrong, you should have an option to stop the loop and not, go it entire round and round. Now, one of the good application of this could be, let's say you are working on some model, right? You are working on some actual model, and let's say neural network. You've heard of neural network?
No.
No. Okay. So neural networks are advanced level of deep learning. So last day I was talking about deep learning, if you could remember. So where
Okay. VR
it,
and all they, you know.
sorry?
VR, video games.
Yes, video games are essentially, I mean, because of them only GPU came into place, and yeah, a lot of matrix multiplication happened. Yeah, that's true. Video games could be a good example of it because it deals with lot of resolution. So lot of calculations are happening simultaneously. So imagine those kind of situation, a video game or something like that, and you had to, I mean, instead of going through the whole loop, it's better if we had a loop, a break in place. So like if one of the pixels start not start moving correctly, you will, so what we will see as an end user, we will see the video quality is fading or something like that. So that's when you should stop. You should have a break statement, so that will discontinue the whole execution. The screen will kind of blank out for some time, 1 2 seconds, and then it will reappear. So that could be a good example of a break. You getting my point?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where break could have a good real world implications. So that is what break is about. What is continue? uh, with the continue statement, we can stop the current execution and continue with the rest. So let me just write it down and you'd be easy. It will be easy for you to relate. So same thing where I less than 6 colon here. Now here what we are doing for the very first time, we are incrementing the value. So the first value is 0, 0 comes in, 0 less than 6, yes, condition met. Now the value is, we are incrementing the value. Now the value becomes 1. And then we are checking the condition. If I is equal to 3, then continue, print I. So you getting the point here? So break will let you stop at any position, and continue will, like, so it's just a small difference. It doesn't matter if it's continue. I'm not really getting a good example of continue at this point. Otherwise, I would have shared that with you. But yeah, continue will let you continue the current execution. It will basically be like a toggle button. So if there is a problem, you put a break. If nothing, just move on. Something like that. So that's why these two are, and pass is something which will not be needed. So we can probably ignore that for now. So that's essentially in short about these two. Now let's do some programs here, and let's try to access your existing stuffs, existing, let's say, lists or those kind of things. Let's say I have a list of uh, movie actors, right?
Okay.
Uh, Something like that. So this is a list I have created. This list has all the movie names. So what is the value of L1? It gives you all the movie names. So let's say now that I know how many values are there, but what if I had no idea? I will just put len. This will give me there are 5. Now loop. Now using list, we can manually, traverse through them. That we have already seen. If we put 0, we are going to get the values accordingly. 0,
One,
2,
two.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And colon colon, let's say I want the list to travel from back. So I'll just put this. So it will start from the end, and it kind of, it just sorted the whole thing in a reverse way, something like that. So we have already seen that. But imagine you have a list of hundreds and thousands of actors. You don't know where exactly the this name is or some other name is. You have no idea about that. In that case, loop will be beneficial. So first, let's see how to travel through a list. So for I in L1, print I. Yep, it's working. See, it's pretty simple. For I in L1, L1 is the entire list. Now we were talking about range. We have not used range here because that is the advantage of list. List kind of does a lot of the small tricky things on your behalf. So you don't need to, look for that. So that is one thing, like, so every, we have used print I, that particular index, and it's directly giving me the whole, value which is stored there. But what if we want to do it using range? Yes, we can do it using range also. Range expects a value. So if I do range of L1, I am going to get an error because range will expect a number, but L1 is not a number, right? L1 is a
Mm.
list. So what I have to get? I have to get the length of L1. Now this value length of L1 is 5. So now I know how many times the leap will need to travel. Fine. First problem is solved. Now I want to print. How will I print? So if I just put I, I'm just going to get the iteration numbers, which is not solving the purpose here. I need the names. I need to access the list name. So what I have to do, I have to call the list itself L1, and as part of the index value, I'm going to pass I. So if I do that, now I am getting names.
Okay.
So these are different ways of, accessing through a list or something. Uh, just imagine we can do the same thing here as well. It's just looping through names, and I'm just, getting the names here. Now, if uh, this name, if this is equal to Kamal, then break. So this is kind of a condition which I want to do, where I want to have a hard stop after this name. Let's say if I need all the names until this one. I don't know the position where Kamal sits. So this is my condition and this is what I'm going to get. Right?
Okay.
So we can bring in lot of things together, and that's the fun of Python. We can interact with multiple things. We can, bring in all of them together in one place. So those kind of things. Uh, we have seen, so for loops, within for loops we can use if else condition. So see
We can
logic.
continue, no, in this.
Sorry, come again.
We can do continue also, no?
Yeah,
Like break.
continue will keep on. Yes, yes, yeah, let's try. No, that is a fun thing. Just keep on experimenting.
Yeah.
Python is huge. It has lot of things. It's not once, until unless you just keep on writing things which comes to your mind, you wouldn't be able to get control, complete hold of it. So that is the point. So nested loops and nested, these things. So one important thing is, we have clubbed things together. We have clubbed loops and condition statements together. But yeah, it entirely depends on what exactly is your need. Here, my need was to get all the names until we get to this name. So
Mm.
we started looping through the list. Then we used an if condition. If this current or the latest name matches this, then put a break. So it gave me this result like that. Uh, that is one thing. Now, there is one small thing which is nested loops. So we have seen here nested conditions, if else, else if. So this else if, we can have multiple else if, else if, else if. Let's say there are 10 conditions, we can write it 10 times. Absolutely fine. So that is nesting of loops. We can do a same thing, which is that is nesting of conditions. We can do the same for nesting of loops. Uh, how can we do it? Let's use the same list. This is a list, and let's say there is another list of um, hmm, what do I number of movies. Let's say they have worked on 56, 65, 54, 21, 48, and 65. So these are two lists I have, right?
Mm.
Now, what if I just want to just club them together? Can we do it? We can try essentially. So let's say the objective is these two should come together, Vijay and 56, Rajni 54, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
should be like that. So if I travel through the loop again, so for I in L1, print of I, it's giving me the names. For J in L2, print J. If I do, it's giving it just. So you are clear on the looping part, right?
yeah,
Okay. Let's club them. Let's add them up. So for I in L1, for J in L2 print I comma j. Hmm. So can you just think of just blindly, like what do you think might happen? So earlier we were just writing one loop at a time. Now within one loop there is another loop. So can you just think of what could happen?
Yeah.
Just whatever comes to your mind, just give it a thought. Okay, leave it. Let's keep it simple.
L1.
This is what is going to happen. Now, why is that? Why is okay? Let's keep it simple. So, uh, so what we were thinking of, so that is the difference. So just this is just think of, just adding these two together. So what essentially we did, we just clubbed these two names together. So this is more of like one-to-one mapping. We just call it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first loop. So for I in L1, so it has 5 elements. So it will go 5 times. And then it will come here. It will go into the second one. So for J in L2, L2 has 3. So for the first time, this value is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And this has 0, 1, 2. So for the first time, this value is 0. This j is 0, but the I is, yeah, and the I is also 0. So for the very first time, I'm going to get 0, 0, which is what I'm getting, VJ56. For the second time, now I'm still within j, right? So the j's value will increase to 1, but the i's value is still 0 because I have not exited from j. I'm still within, the I loop. So now 0 will be clubbed with 1. So Vj will be clubbed with 54. Next time Vj will be clubbed with 21. That once that part is done, now the j will break. It will come to I again. I's value will increase to 1 and then 1 will go through 0, 1, 2 like that. So are we clear on this part? Like why is this? Oh, so this is basically a nested loop. I just wanted to show you like loop one within another.
Why it is repeating like 3 times?
Yeah, exactly. That is the point. So okay, let's uh so just imagine these loops individually. So L1 loop will happen for 5 times, right? Because there are 5 elements.
Elements, yeah.
L2, the second one will happen for 3 times because there are 3 elements, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
if I execute these two separately in two different codes, right? The first one will give me these 5 names, the second one will give me these 3 numbers. But if we are accessing one inside another, what is really happening is for the very first time, what is the value of 0? See, also understand, Ranjit, how this indentation works. So now I am, so I've started with this for I in L1. There is a colon. So it moves into this part. So now I am within this particular segment. So until this whole part is complete, I will not go back to the first for loop. And that is how Python works. So once this whole condition is met, this whole statements are executed, then only I'll go back to I. Are we clear on
If
that part?
Yeah, correct. So if L2 we can give 5 numbers, no, so it will be automatically matching with elements of L1, no.
Yeah, but these two are treated differently. So just ignore the, the map, the match between these two.
Okay.
So these two are completely two different things. I just wanted to show you how two loops are, working within each other. So how we can access one loop within another. That is how I wanted to show you. So this will make more sense now. Print I. This will make more sense now. Print I, or let's say inside J loop. This will be easy, I think. I think you just got confused with the names and all of that, which is fair, absolutely making sense. So, see here what is happening. On the very first execution, all the values are 0. So, this one got executed inside J loop.
Okay.
Inside J loop got executed, right? So, that is the first print. Now, the value of J is 0. Once this, after this print, the value of J becomes 1,
Hmm.
right? So, 1, once the value is 1, it will come here again. The total number of values here are 3. So it should execute one more time. So it's giving a second print. After this print, it comes back to this particular line. Now J becomes 3. So 3 is meeting this particular condition. Yeah, it's less than that. Like 0, 1, 2, it starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 2 is less than this number. So third time, the J loop is getting executed. Right? Now, after this print, the value of J becomes 4. 4, fourth is exceeding the number of items we have. That means the J loop will not run anymore. J loop has to end now. So once the J loop ends, it probably exits this whole statement. So this whole part is done now. So it will jump here to the next print. What is it says? It says inside I loop. So it prints this particular line. So once this particular line is done, i's value was 0. So it will go back to the very first statement. Now i's value will be incremented by 1. So I will become 1. We have 5 values here. So 1 is of course less than 5. So it will come again. Again the J will start. Again J will get executed 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then the I will get executed. And that's how the whole thing will go. Are we clear? We understood that?
Yeah.
Still any doubts? I know for the very first time it might, yeah, it might feel a little confusing, but just think it through from a loop perspective. Like what this loop is doing and what the outside loop is doing and how the values are getting incremented. That's why I was telling you. So it's better if you keep on practicing this at your end. It will be relatable for you, in terms
Sure.
of, yeah. So that is what,
Fine.
this, loop is doing.
Okay. So can we stop here?
Sorry, I did not get that. Hello, 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 Ranjit, can you hear me? Hello, Ranjit, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. So I said that we stop here because 10 o'clock, so I have to start for my office.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's stop now. And tomorrow, let's start exactly at 8:30.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah.